You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Cosmos After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Cosmos After Show.
I'm getting strange stares from everyone here at AFTERBUZZ TV Studios, but there's a reason why this song is being played.
Okay.
As we all know, welcome AFTERBUZZ TV Nation. This is Cosmos, Season 1, the only one, Episode number 7. The episode was called The Clean Room. I'm JC, and let's go around the table and introduce our wonderful panel of hosts, starting with the lovely lady in blue and white.
Hello, I am Autumn Chiklis.
And what is that, peach, my friend? What's going on? What you got on there?
Yeah, it's a beautiful peach Easter color.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Uh-huh.
And
Right.
what's your name?
It's 420 Easter.
It's
Right?
That's his name.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dillon Chance.
Praise it and blaze it.
We're a minute 28 in, and
Happy
our
4th
show,
Easter.
yes, our show is done, and of course, the man of sense and sensibility, the scientist of the group.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott Moore.
Okay, guys, there's a reason why we opened with this song. Any guesses why?
No, I have no guesses why you opened with that song.
Okay, well, tonight's episode was dealing basically of the cosmos of time, of
Yes.
how old
Sure.
Earth is.
Right.
Right.
Well, the scientist, Mr. Patterson, Clair Patterson, was voiced by Richard Gere.
Oh,
That's
I knew it
quite
sounded
the
familiar.
connection there.
Okay.
Okay.
Just circling it all in, everybody.
All right. I'm with you now.
All right, so.
It makes so much sense.
Says.
But no show. The more you know. All right, now no show would be complete without the master of the ones and twos, our lady stats,
Lady stats.
What's up, everyone?
Marissa
Welcome
Serafini.
back. Hello.
Yeah.
We love having you every week.
I love being here.
Our fans love you.
Oh, do they?
They
No.
do.
Yes, we're
They
gonna have to
do.
throw you here on the table, but then who's gonna engineer for us,
So, I don't know. We're gonna have to get another engineer.
or maybe a special guest? All right, now, so overall thoughts on tonight's episode, guys.
Duck soup my ass.
Duck soup.
That's
my
right.
ass.
That's
Wait.
how I felt.
Okay.
Duck soup.
What did you guys think? Were you more compelled? I did not want to do tonight's episode. Literally, I wanted to stay home.
I actually did too, actually.
I did too.
Are you
But
serious?
that's because I enjoyed too much wine today, but that's a whole other story.
Well, I enjoyed too much food today. That's a whole nother story.
So, but was that the reason why?
I was so tired and
the
exhausted.
indulgence.
But you know what? I pulled through so that I could come here
Be here
and watch
for you.
Cosmos and learn.
No, I really wasn't feeling. I have a hard time with Earth science.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm always thinking cosmos. I always want to be
Right. You
exploring
want to be in
Oh,
space.
you wanna be in space,
You want to be
yeah.
in space. You don't like being on
Alright.
Earth.
I feel you.
I like the flash and the just I like the pizzazz, but then without us learning about our own Earth, how do we know what's abroad?
Exactly.
And also, it's pretty remarkable that we've been, we've been able to go out into space and discover so many things about the universe. So we still haven't really figured out everything about our home turf.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the ocean specifically.
That's what I was just
right?
exactly. You were just reading my mind there because I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing. I was like, we haven't even gone through and even scoured the depths of the ocean, which are 4 or 5 miles deep in
Yeah,
some
meanwhile,
spots.
we're like discovering
Exactly.
cousin planets to Earth at this point, light
Mm-hmm.
years away.
Yeah. So then, would you guys? I was surprised by tonight's episode. Actually, like I said, I did not want to come in. After I watched it, I thought it was one of my favorite episodes so far, and I learned so much. Like I said, I usually cover Kardashians and The Bachelor and whatnot, but I'm getting my learn on here. And let me just say, tonight's episode, coupled with the story, because sometimes we get lost in the story. They run 1 or 2 stories during each episode and tie it into the theme. But tonight's episode, it deeply impacted me. I honestly can say not because it was Richard Gere, but I mean, just.
That was my reason.
Oh, really? No, but just what we learn, and basically, I did not know about the struggles with oil. I did not know, I've known about it, but did it feel a little kind of, I don't want to say conspiracy theorist, but more so, it was trying to make, once again, that social stance that it does in every episode.
Yeah,
it definitely did.
That's not a conspiracy theory. I mean, that's the truth. It is the truth. This is what they did.
Okay.
And like you said, this was a good episode. And this was the one that probably made me the most angry so far. Usually I'm happy after Cosmos, but like after this one, I was just
You're fit to be
very
tied.
Yes, you were.
upset. I was walking back and forth. I was pacing, saying,
Like, I want to go back in time and I want
I-
to destroy the people that did this.
I did. I said that during the
That's what
show.
you
I
said.
said, I just want to go back in time and kick this guy's ass. The guy that was the scientist arguing for the big
Oh, yeah.
oil
Robert
companies.
Kehoe.
Dr.
Kehoe.
Kehoe, yes.
What a waste of time
Yeah.
travel, but I would do it.
All right, so we'll give Dylan plenty of time
Sorry,
for his
guys.
soapbox
Sorry.
speech a little bit later. And of
Yeah.
course, we've got some news, right? Do we have a little
We
stuff
do, of
coming up?
course.
Little Kepler stuff?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
Wonderful.
stay tuned for that. So
News, what's got?
let's go. News in 2
News
minutes or
with
less.
Scott.
Scott. All right,
Tune in at 11.
let's get into the episode. So what did we learn? Basically, the Earth was created on October 22nd, 4004 BC at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
It was
on
a
a Saturday night.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yes, and that was James Usher of Ireland, the Archbishop. Now, how did he come to
Usher
that?
with 2 S's,
Granted,
not like the Usher.
Well-
at least he was the first person to actually try to put a date
Right.
to something, so I will commend him for that.
Absolutely.
He
Gets
was,
a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, he was horribly wrong. Okay, you don't give him too much credit for that.
I'm giving him credit for
I'll give him
trying.
credit. Yeah, it's
Give points
the
for trying.
it's the first step.
Right.
There was
Yeah,
an
okay.
attempt.
Right.
And in this attempt, obviously, he happened to be very wrong because he was using the Bible as the scientific stance, which is debatable as to whether it's not debatable. It's not accurate at all. So it was he was wrong, but I will commend him for being the first person to take that step into asking the question: How old is the Earth? How can I figure this out?
Autumn, do you think that this whole series, we've talked about the episode on evolution and whatnot and how it is a slap in the face to creationists.
Yeah.
Do you think, right now, the way you brought up that story, which was how it was explained on the episode, is this just another pummeling for the creationists? Do they have a right to gripe? What is is there an agenda? I'm asking, is there an agenda by Seth MacFarlane and company to push this down in such a way where, are we going to open minds or are we just going to anger the other side?
I think the goal ultimately is to open minds. I personally am not for isolating two separate schools of thought. I don't know if you guys watched the debate between, the creationist versus evolution debate with Bill Nye.
Sure.
And that I thought was excellent because it actually fostered a discussion as opposed to just finger pointing. And I think as funny as, people who I watch and love dearly, like Bill Maher and some people who are more into isolation tactics, it's less effective than actually bringing conversation together and educating. So I hope that it's not trying to finger point, but there's always going to be a level of accusation when you're discussing facts versus maybe
The problem. Sorry.
No,
I'm gonna
please,
cut you off.
please. I'm
The
talking to-
problem with this is in the debate. The problem is when you have a debate, you give them grounds as if their argument is valid.
Okay, that's I agree with
and
you.
I
do agree with that.
And I didn't think that debate should have happened. Now, I know it came off and it made the guy look stupid and he was saying a bunch of stuff and a lot of people were laughing at him. But the people that truly believe and were listening to him, they're going to walk away going, oh, he won that. He won that argument. They're not going to hear the other side because they're so just tuned in to his argument.
Isn't that in general, though, for any
Yeah,
where
but
people are
that's
passionate about
that's
one side
how,
or another?
But that's why I like this show because there is no other side. It's like, look, these are the facts. I don't stop listening to your other side. This is it.
Well, Dylan, Scott,
Yeah.
think, how would it go? Let's say from the angle of creationism and whatnot, you tend to hear people. They've said, I'm getting this from Star Talk. There was an episode this week with Dr. Tyson and Steven Soder, who wrote Cosmos.
Right.
And he talked about the fact that with creationism, they tend to preach a little more. And then when it comes from a science point of view, we just display the facts. And what they brought up on the show was, isn't it about time for us maybe to start preaching the facts a little bit more? Or am I wrong? I'm just...
No, I absolutely agree, but I think there's a way of being able, like you were saying, Autumn, that there's a way to be able to put both of them together in the sense that creationism can be used as a template for the scientific fact. It's more of a story and more of a, but if you can meld the two together and understand that, you can mix the story with the fact of this is scientific truth. And I think that's a way. But what you were saying, Dillon, is that people get into a point where they get too passionate about one side or the other, and they automatically close off from anything else.
Yeah, maybe if we can get enough people
But-
to ignore it, it'll just go
But
away.
the problem is that when
We've
you're
been trying that for
when
a
you're
while. It
representing,
doesn't-
yeah, exactly. When you represent one side, it's the same thing though, because by
Yeah,
representing
right.
one side of scientific truth, then there's going to be a group of people that are going to automatically
The
tune
way
out
I
whatever you're
feel-
saying.
Yeah, the way
Yeah.
I feel is that the
Regardless.
facts speak for themselves.
Right.
Sure.
I'm a huge believer in education just because I feel like if you present the truths on a table, it will always ring. And there will be something, it will always come forth, essentially.
It always rises to the surface.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
always rise to the surface.
Hey, they said that in the show. They said you can't fool nature. Nature won't
yeah.
be fooled or whatever. So
Exactly.
That's
So
it.
the way I
It'll-
have
it'll
always,
come to
I've
light.
always been under the philosophy that if you take a bunch of people of different backgrounds and put them in a room and you display the facts, ultimately over time, if you keep displaying the facts and more people have eyes, they have ears, they're capable of understanding and questioning. Someone is going, and little by little, people are going to go, yeah, that seems right. It does. So for me, or for my money, I'm a huge believer of displaying the facts, letting them speak for themselves. So when it comes to, because when you preach, you end up isolating people and you
Sure.
get people on the defensive and they kind of close their ears and go into their own preach mode. And it's a really difficult topic. It's really
Sure.
hard.
It's hard. It's
But-
hard.
Well, instead of us just spending so much time, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to let's move on to. And speaking of omnipotence, I was going to say the fact how Dr. Tyson can move mountains.
Oh, that was amazing. That was awesome. I
Parting
didn't even
the
know he
rocks.
had that cosmic power.
Hey, he's got every power.
He's
in
Neil
come on, he's
deGrasse
Neil.
Tyson.
I, you know,
on.
all right?
Do whatever he wants.
The
All right,
man,
so
the myth, the
we-
legend.
We start figuring out the age of. Well, we talk about the meteorite. Actually, was it? Wait, hold on. We go to the asteroid belt, where somehow about 1 million years ago, a larger asteroid was hit by a smaller.
Small asteroid
Thank you.
collided
the
and
trajectory.
changed it.
And then hurled
Trajectory.
it down to us. And it landed, 50,000 years ago in a place we now call Arizona.
Yes.
That's a strange place, Arizona.
So,
It actually is.
It is.
once again, tonight's episode for me, the visuals were stunning. I loved when they hovered over the Grand Canyon. Was that the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
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 I'm
Well,
kidding.
there's a lot of canyons in Arizona, so you never know.
No, but just tonight's
That's just
episode
the biggest one.
from the start, those first 10 minutes.
And the
and then,
grandest.
Yes. It just to me, for me, what I got the most out of tonight were the visuals. And that's why I was hooked. Those last week, it felt I was missing those special effects. I was missing
Yeah.
just the grandiosity of the show and of what Earth is. And I got it tonight. So, moving a little further, let's start talking about the layers.
Ah, the layers.
Yes, Dylan, tell us a little bit about the layers. Do you have it?
Yeah, I wrote some of it down. They were talking about the sediments in the Grand Canyon, and they were talking about how he picked one shell. I think I just hit water on you. Sorry about that. The Precambrian period was the first shell, and it was like, what, 1 billion years ago? And then they went down to the next level, and that was the, Bright Angel Shale? That's what I wrote down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, about
And that was
500
like 530 million years ago. And they were just talking about how the sediments, they thought, we can measure the Earth based on the sediments, and like, because they
The
go
layers.
down in the layers. But then they found out that some layers take thousands of years to turn the sediments in the rock and spread down, but others take just days if there's a massive flood, because the sediments will push in and push down. So they couldn't get accurate readings on the sediments of the Earth because they just form so differently depending on the situation.
So then, how are we going to determine the age of the Earth?
Enter Clair Patterson.
Very well said. Yes.
Or actually, what was it?
And Harrison Brown.
Harrison Brown, yeah.
Enter Harrison Brown.
Yes, Harrison Brown, and of course, what we got out of that one was basically duck soup.
My ass.
You know, so okay, what it said was Patterson Brown. He understood the process, but he chose Clair Patterson to do the work.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, he's
That's
a
what
busy
you
man.
do with your assistants.
That's right.
Okay.
Make them do the work.
Interns.
Don't you have any assistants, JC?
No, not yet. I'm looking for some. Okay, so with that said, no, but actually, you know what? I want us to stew on this duck soup because we do have to take a moment and say hi to our sponsors, correct, Marissa? Let's take it away.
Yeah.
Let's not leave home without this.
My name is Yvonne Saravia, and I a home health aide. My credit score was very high. It was like 700 something. Then I had like a hiccup in my finances. Everything just crashed. But I don't crawl under a rock and cry. It takes baby steps to get back. So that's what I am doing.
With American Express Serve, you have a full-service prepaid account that helps you handle your money simply and affordably. There's no credit check. You can pay your bills online and reload cash for free at over 15,000 locations, all for $1 a month, and all backed by the 24/7 service of American Express. This is what membership is. This is what membership does.
Get started with an American Express Serve card at CVS Pharmacy or Family Dollar today. Terms and restrictions apply. Go to serve.com for more details.
And we're back. So where do we leave off? Basically, I'm the bad student.
You're the bad student, yeah.
Yes.
Clair Patterson was a bad student, they said.
But that equals then the
You're
three
going to
of
be a
y'all.
major genius scientist
That's right.
and solve the world's
Discover
Why is
problems.
that always the way
ills.
it goes? It's always the rebel who's bad at school who ends up making the groundbreaking discoveries and changing everything.
I don't want to go off on a tangent, but that's kind of interesting that you bring that up, though, because then does that make us question our whole education system? But moving on.
That's a different. That's
a whole other
come on,
show,
don't
another
open
story.
that.
We don't have time
Don't
for
open
that.
that.
we
can
don't.
room.
Zircon grains.
Thank you. So
That's where we
basically, the task was from Patterson Brown to Clair Patterson.
No, Harrison Brown.
Harrison Brown. Sorry, I got confused when he said, "Can I call you Pat?"
Yeah. By the way, am I the only one that thought these animations in this episode were like particularly weird tonight? Like they
They
seemed a
were
little
weird.
weird compared to all the other episodes. Like they all seemed a little like just kind of creepy and
Yes.
like on this weird level.
I think it was the time period. The
You think
20th
so?
century, they were trying to...
Trying to like a Mad Men.
Mid-twen-
In the
yes, it
60s?
was. It sort of had that, yeah, it sort of had the 50s and 60s had that.
call you Pat.
And then, like, he's sitting there cleaning with a broom and takes off his shirt. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
this
sorry.
was weird stuff.
I felt a lot of
loud. I'm
elements.
get you to measure some zircon grains, Pat.
After hours.
All right, but see, but all that, and we're giving him such a hard time, but he did this for 6 years, trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
trying
Yes,
to
he
find,
did.
you know,
Trying
and-
to clean
and his-
out his lab.
Right, his lead levels were all over the place. He was mopping things. He was boiling things in acid, and nothing seemed to work.
yeah.
Well, that's 'cause
Germaphobe to the max.
Well, I mean, that's what we...
That's how I live.
That's how... lead is one of those things
Yeah.
that you just can't get rid of. So once...
eternal.
Yes, once it's in you or once it's on something, it's there forever, pretty much. It doesn't change. You can't get rid of it. So that is a problem. That's why he was... That was funny, too, when the way they showed him, like, seeing all these things everywhere. It's like, oh, my God, he's going crazy.
But lead
This
does
poor
make
guy.
you go crazy.
But the thing was, is the moment that I saw that at the very beginning of the episode, I knew right away that he was... Because of the time period that he was, thinking about lead. Because it was such a prevalent thing,
Yeah.
especially back in
Right.
the 60s, right into the 70s and early 80s. So.
Leaded gasoline.
And this all went down in, I guess, Pasadena, which is for our super fan out there. Yes, yes, everything went down in Pasadena, and he ended up building what we call the clean room now. And to me, it reminded me very Breaking Bad. And Dr. Tyson.
Yes.
Was
Very
in
different
the-
That was
intention.
awesome.
Yes.
I just read so much in this episode. It was an adventure watching it tonight. So
This is where Walter White
Well,
got the idea.
it was almost the first time that we focused on something so relatively modern, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Which
we
is
were
cool.
in the mid 20th century, and we focused on one particular scientist instead of in the past when we're 3 or 4, like you were
Right.
saying, and it was way back, and then we were going on to tie it all together. This was the first time we really kind of focused on modern history.
And I'm
here.
glad we did that because this guy was a hero. A hero.
yes, he was.
He was.
He was, and he doesn't get much credit for it. but
He
really
doesn't.
was
Like
in that
I am.
sense.
You know what? I'm sad to say this, but I had never heard of this guy before.
Me either.
I knew the whole lead debacle, but I didn't know about this guy.
Clair
And
Patterson.
this guy did so much to take lead out of like just our daily lives.
Right.
And that's amazing because he fought against these major companies that were paying other scientists off to like spread false information. The whole system was evil. It still is in some parts, but that ticked me off. There's my rant.
You're killing our sound
Yeah.
engineer,
Yeah.
pounding on the table.
I'm sorry.
You're-
Sorry. Sorry.
But you're passionate about it.
Yes.
So no, I picked up. See, you guys pick up the science stuff. I pick up like the mood, like the theme, like the show themes of it. Because if you listen to the score, it sounded like Charlie's Angels to me. Go back and listen to the episode, and you'll hear the little chimes, and you would hear it's very Charlie's Angels-esque. Trust me. And the fact of what you said, that now you want to find out more about Clair Patterson.
Yeah, I do. I want to go read more about this guy.
So many of us, I know I'm going to.
Yeah.
I think we all are, and I can imagine how many countless Americans, or actually since this show is international, how many people are going to start investigating this further and further and further and untangle that web that's been...
Yeah, he fought the good fight.
He did. And what's really cool about focusing on more modern science is the fact that when we really talk about scientific discoveries, people tend to think about the earliest discoveries, like Newton and gravity and all that fun stuff. But really, people tend to think of science as the technology that we're getting. So like, oh, my iPhone is the most scientific thing that I have. Or as a like non-progressing field. And first of all, it's because we don't really put the emphasis on it that we should, I think. But more to the point, I think it's cool that we're talking about a major scientific discovery made relatively recently.
Sure.
And to inspire people to say, hey, this is still something, things like this need to be discovered daily. We need to kind of focus more on...
What else are they lying to us about?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we kind of think of I guess the way what I'm trying to articulate is that when you think of philosophy, when you think of science, people tend to think, oh, it's already, the major stuff has been discovered already, except, you know, things that are either light years and light years away from us that we have no idea of. But when we're talking about something that's relatively recent and local, I mean, Pasadena, something that's a lot more tangible. We were talking about the earlier in the episode, our Earth. There's a lot we have to figure out here and now, not just, you know, the extent of our universe. So that was really cool.
In effect, I think the episode then really hit you dead center. It was dead solid perfect because when when Clair Patterson made that discovery, he started quoting those that came before him.
Yeah. That was good.
Perfect
So that was
time.
great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was thanking those scientists that helped lead to that moment of being able to get to that point.
And having that moment of discovery, but then once he made that discovery, the shadowy figures appeared.
It was he put that paper out there, even though they were like, "Oh, that's the same people that fund us." He's like, "Whatever, I'm gonna put that paper out there anyways." And then they showed up, offered him more money to go off and research other things. Leave lead alone. You've covered lead. Yeah, just go along. Go do something else. That's how they are.
Now, I wanted
Those
to...
shadowy figures. That's the way they always are.
Big oil assassins.
And before we move into that one, I was talking more of the foreshadowing of when they showed up, because what the whole series ends up doing is they'll have this little foreshadowing within the episode that 20 minutes later is the payoff. We see it every episode,
We do.
because then we go off into this little tangent about Saturn. Well, it's not even a tangent. Basically, it's the true explanation of lead and okay.
And with the history of the Roman Empire, that as well,
With all their lead.
You know, that went back to lead, and the horrible thing about that is they knew that it was toxic, but the people that were dealing with it close at hand, they're like, oh, they're disposable, they're just slaves, they can be killed off. But it's the same thing, like you were saying,
the same thing?
that happened relatively recent. Is it all comes down to money. It was like it was cheap, it was easy to produce, it was malleable. And it can be used for a lot of different things, so why not just put it in there? Who
And
cares
all
about
of
anything
the
else? It happens now.
ignoring nature, ignoring the fact that it's dangerous to people, and just not worrying about the lower class, the slaves, and everyone dying is what led to one of the things that led to the fall of Rome.
Yes, but
And we all know that history repeats itself.
I'm gonna have to.
Bummer.
Dylan, you are on fire tonight. So, all right. So now let us move to. I know now we know lead is poisonous.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about the Saturnalia, the crazy Saturn.
Yes.
AKA Christmas.
Thank you.
pagan
Take it
Saturn.
away.
Christmas.
And it so they were talking about Saturn was named after what, the god of
Heaven and earth. It was the son of heaven and
son
earth.
of okay. And they were saying they named it after lead because it would move so slow and they thought it killed its other brothers or whatever. So they knew Saturn had to relate with lead.
Ate his child.
Yeah, there you
murdered his
go.
father.
Ate his child.
Which, by the way,
You
did
know.
you hear about the new moon with Saturn that's
Oh,
in the middle of the rings?
Yes,
Peggy.
I did.
Yes.
Peggy. It's in the middle of like one of the rings, which I thought was crazy too. I'm like, oh, it's just hanging out in one of the rings.
It's
Just
neat that we're
chilling.
like watching a new moon form.
Yeah.
Like,
So what
that's
does that
pretty
bring us up to? How many moons on Saturn now?
cool. Oh boy.
I get them confused between
because Jupiter has a lot.
Jupiter has
It's
like
56 to 63, I believe.
I think Saturn has 30 something and
No.
Jupiter isn't it?
I thought it was quite a
More?
bit more.
Everyone out there, tell us how many.
Yes.
How many are there? Let us know.
That is the
I don't
question of the
remember
night,
off top of my
unless
head.
Lady Stats beats you all to it.
Go Marissa, go.
2.5 seconds.
Anyways, when the church came along, thousands of years later, and they were trying to turn pagans into Christians, and they were like trying to get more people. They made Christmas around the same time as Saturnalia, their pagan festival, to attract more pagans.
Did they do this for a reason? Right now that you're explaining this, and today it's Easter, do you think it's another little nudge?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It has to be.
But I mean, that again, that's something that happened though, and the fact that pagans celebrated that day when it was the lightest day or longest night of the year, and that way it was a celebration of like now the lights coming. So it was all part of.
Yeah.
No, Scott, I understand that, but why do it on tonight's episode?
I do it on Easter.
Yeah.
You mean why is it?
Yeah,
was
that's
it
what
a
I'm saying.
coincidence that they kind of?
Nothing's a coincidence.
Yeah, but at the same time, I could play it as a coincidence, and just the episode, I just conveniently, I think, happened to
I think
fall on
just
Easter because
fantastic.
Easter was late this year.
No, it's good. It's good.
But
because
I
a lot
wouldn't
of
read too
people
much into
don't
that.
realize that most religions that they celebrate, they think, oh, they're religious. This holiday started with my religion. My religion invented this holiday. But they don't realize that they were already holidays thousands of years before their religion even came into existence. But these people don't know that.
You're going to get us in trouble with all the Horace
Good.
fans. Okay, so let's move on to the wonderful world of Dutch Boy and the 1920s.
Oh, yes.
Oh, gotcha.
And just the insidious plots and plots and plans. Sorry, my English is not very good today.
Pots and plans.
Yes.
Pots and pans.
Pots and pans, pots and
Well, pots and pans had lead. layers on
there
them,
you
so
go.
it all
That was the
works out.
tie-in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. See?
Got my back. All right, so once again, greed consumes us all because we found out that there was an additive they could add to that would create, what was it,
tetraethyl. I can't even speak now. Yes, which just like a half a cup, which there's a on your skin could kill you. It is so highly toxic.
Yet they were manufacturing, what is it, 60 million tons? Was
Yeah, I mean, and it was in every product, like we were talking about off camera. I mean, it was in toys, it was in paints and Dutch Boy until 1978. It was cups.
Marissa, how old is this
all
cup?
that stuff, silverware.
It's 2 years old.
Okay.
I think we're okay. I think we're
I mean,
set.
it was amazing how many products had it in there besides, gas, besides leaded gasoline, which.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, and that's where we have a lot of issues even today, where you have to, have places basically scrapped because they have lead paint if they were before 1978. So I mean, that's very recent. Yeah.
And then once again we see Clair Patterson come back into the picture, and because he was starting on a new study, correct? What was that going into the?
Are you talking about snow going and?
We're going to going
First-
to like Antarctica, going up to Greenland.
Well, first he went to the ocean, didn't he?
Right.
Oh yeah.
The shallow water there, and again, it's true. Like when
Where
you
the
have
readings.
shallow and the deeper water, and they
And that's
tend
when
to
he wrote
mix.
his paper.
Right. Thank you. There we go. I'm so confused right now.
You got it.
Okay.
Higher
Alright.
concentrations of lead in the shallow water and then in the deeper water.
Because it takes a long time for it to sink down.
Yeah, and mix in.
Okay. So what I'm wondering is why. Okay, this is where I was confused.
Okay.
Okay.
Why would the oil company allow or help fund Dr. Patterson's research?
They didn't.
At first.
At first. Because at first did they even know he was doing based on lead? They probably didn't even know.
No,
They're
they
probably
probably
just
didn't
like,
even
hey, we're paying
realize.
this
They
guy.
also
to
probably didn't realize the consequences that were at hand,
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
discoveries he was going to make,
Exactly.
because they had another scientist who knew more about the field than anyone else alive,
Dr.
as he humbly
Kehoe
put it.
had already had his stuff out there, and people were kind of believing that because
Yeah.
they were like, okay, great, and just kind of let it go because he said there was no proof that it was dangerous, and so they probably thought they were protected by that. Nobody out in the world and the consumers, nobody was raising a big interest, and especially we were talking about too off camera, is like back in that time period, you didn't have all the multiple sources, you didn't have Twitter, you didn't have people online being able to say, hey, there's all these instances of my children having issues. You didn't have that back then. You just had the 3 stations,
Right.
you had newspapers, and if you were a way to get those people to be shut down and say everything's fine,
Yeah.
What you were
That
fed
was
through
it.
those 3 stations,
Right.
and the newspaper is what you were fed, and it was where you got your news, and that was
Also
the end of it.
paid for by the big companies.
Wow. I'm just the
This
more and
got
more
you mad, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm ticked.
the more and more this
Not
episode is
pleased.
he's just such a hero.
yeah, I mean, we went up against very big odds, with these big companies. But the other thing that was pretty amazing.
I'm
is which
surprised
said
they
is the
didn't kill
company-
him.
Well, I am too, but I'm also surprised that the
Just like throw
government.
him in the river.
No, that the government stepped up and actually had his back too.
And that's a
because
surprise.
back in
Because
that time period.
nowadays, that doesn't happen.
Right, and that the EPA was formed by Nixon in the well, they had Edward Muskie, who was a big environmental politician anyways at the time, so he was very big on that, and he actually ran for president, lost horribly. But he was the one that was behind all that, and they started the EPA in 73, and that's when they said you had to phase out lead. And it didn't
20
happen.
years after
Yeah,
figuring
well, it
it
didn't
out.
happen until 86, from 66 to 86, but 73 is when they said you have to cut it back, and by 1986, no more leaded gasoline. Because I actually remember as a kid growing up being able to see the leaded and unleaded, when you'd go to the gas station, and it's such a weird thing to think about that, there's so much danger with that, but it was in everything. Even think about the pencils, even like when you leaded pencils. I mean, that's the thing that we forget about. Like, everything had lead.
Yeah.
Back in the mid 20th century.
So basically, I mean, tonight, honestly, it was a bit of a shift, but so much that was learned. I love AfterBuzz. I love being here, but I can't wait for the show for us to wrap up tonight, because I'm going to go read up more about Clair Patterson. I am honestly moved by the guy so much, and I'm so appreciative of this series. Brilliant episode for me. I mean, any final thoughts? Wrapping up, anything we might have missed? Before we move into sexy news and gossip with Scotty the Body.
Scotty the Body. That's what we call him.
Well, all I'll say about the episode is that it is wonderful. I mentioned this earlier. I was talking about it earlier. It's wonderful to see that a scientist who is so recent, was able to make a discovery and then stick to it and fight for the truth of the situation and the truth of the facts, and wasn't persuaded by money and big companies and even the fear of knowing that his projects were going to be defunded. He actually stood up for the moral thing. And I hate to be that person who's like, yay, cliches, but no, in this case, yes, let's celebrate the cliche of the little guy actually
prevailing.
I
mean, because he really did. When you think about people now that with their kids and everything, it's like, and even in humans in general, it's like 80% less lead in our bodies now than back in the mid 20th century. And you think, again, like we're talking about, it's like mercury poisoning. Lead is in you forever. It never goes away. So when you get those higher lead levels, that's it. So, I mean, it is amazing that it affects everybody's lives. And that's, to me, what's cool about science.
And you got to focus on the victories. I guess that's the way I'll end it. When we were talking about earlier about the conflict between either religion and science or whatever you want to do, you have to celebrate victories like this when it comes to science.
Any final thoughts, Dillon?
Oh, I'm ready for the news.
All right, so let's have another great episode. Let's move to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz
Once
TV
again, why
News.
do we say gossip? It's Cosmos.
I know, right?
Because we already discussed this. Stars, celebrities,
stars,
rumors.
I never heard that one.
Religious rumors.
All right, Scott, what do you got for this
Well, I
week?
know you're going to help me out a little bit with this too, aren't you, Dylan?
Yes, I am,
you have
sir.
here
I'm right here.
On,
As your backup.
On Kepler.
Kepler 186F.
186F. Yes, put on your glasses here.
Okay, all right.
It is the most Earth-like planet.
The cousin. I heard about
Yes,
this. This
the
is like
Earth
Earth's cousin.
cousin,
Oh, I'm
right.
so excited about this.
It's relatively the same size. It's in the habitable
1.1.
zone. Yeah, so
close.
it's relatively the same
Very
size,
close,
right?
very close.
They're saying it's in the habitable zone where water could exist. They're not sure.
Ooh.
They think it could. The whole thing is fascinating though, because it's with a star that's a little bit different type of star than ours, sun. That they said may not have life because it's got a little bit more radiation. It's a little bit of a dimmer star. But because of the fact, because it's basically in the same location and orbit as Mercury would be in our solar system. But the fact that that star is different means that it's still in the habitable zone. Hospitable zone. And
Marissa just pulled up a picture of Kepler.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, see, there we go. Look at this. You can see the different sizes there, close to the beautiful planet Earth. So they're going to be spending some more money. The Exoplanet Survey satellite is set to launch in 2017. That's going to look for even more planets too that could be similar, that could have life on it. So this is also opening up the field that there could be, which we've always talked about in the past, lots of other planets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're
that could have life and in the relative close area to us. So this is just the fact that there's like 18 or 100 or so that there could be at least 24, maybe even more that have life on them. So it's really, really cool.
Here are some quick things that we do know and don't know about this Kepler 186F. So we know 1.1 times the size of Earth. Right. Due to its size and location, it's likely a rocky planet. I can't speak now. You guys are rubbing off on me. So it's not a gaseous ball planet. It's not Jupiter. It's not Saturn.
No, it's not gaseous, exactly.
It's about 500 light years away from Earth, so it's going to take us a while to get there. They say it's about several billion years old, obviously. Right. It orbits its sun in 130 days. So you'd be really old on that planet.
It's like half the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
period. Well, because again, it's close to Mercury, basically, is
yeah.
what they're saying. It's like its orbit is basically Mercury.
But like he said, since the star is different, even though it's Mercury close, it's chilly because the star is, I don't think, the star is probably, older. It's not as bright as, like, our sun.
Yep. And hence more radiation, which we've learned on
Right,
Cosmos.
so it'll be
previous
chilly there.
episodes.
Right.
This is fun. This one's a fun one. At noon, high noon, it would only be about as bright as our planet at sunset.
Oh, wow.
Because it's dimmer.
So
Yep.
it's never going to get that bright. So, and some of the things we still don't know, obviously. We don't know if it has water. We don't know if it has an atmosphere. And obviously we don't know if it has life. So.
No, but it's in the that's the thing that's fascinating that we never know.
And we don't know what kind of gravity it has. It could have crazy gravity. We don't know.
We don't know.
And add to that, see, the common theme is we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
But just the fact that we have to realize just how perfect our existence is here.
Right.
Because there's so many things that mathematically had to happen. It had to be perfectly aligned
Oh,
for us
yeah.
to. So the fact that we're trying to justify, well, it's a little cooler than Earth, but I don't want to say
Everything has to be exactly
the
perfect.
beauty of
Like,
of science, of just the astronomical number, the chances for us to be here right now.
Slim to
And
none.
it is. I mean, it's absolutely. And I even think about the detail. Like even like this week alone, I noticed that the roses in my neighborhood bloom because it has to be the exact amount of sunlight, the exact amount of nighttime. It's like 13 hours and 6 minutes. It's like that to me is fascinating. Like this exact week they bloom.
That was beautiful.
No, but it's those details that I think are
Yeah,
really
totally.
amazing when you go around and
That
walk
is
around and you notice those little details.
I'm taking off my
So
glasses
perfect.
for dramatic effect.
Well, I was got
I'll
one
put
other
them
thing.
on.
Speaking of looking up at space and using, telescopes and everything, there's going to be a new remote-controlled robotic Wi-Fi telescope that simplifies stargazing that you can be able to use with your smartphone. It doesn't come cheap though.
It doesn't come cheap.
No, it doesn't. But
no.
the telescope simplifies stargazing because this next star evolution line connects wirelessly to your mobile device by aligning to your gadget's GPS and your gadget's data to calibrate. However, it's about $2,000 right now to be able to own one for
Is that
yourself.
the one? Did you read that in Wired?
Yes.
Okay, so I happen to know the assistant sales manager at Celestron, the place that makes
Yes, that's the one that makes those.
telescopes. Maybe I could see if we could get our hands on one of those to play with.
That'd be awesome. We could show our fans.
That'd be
be
fun.
fantastic.
That would be
Absolutely.
fun.
I'll put the word out. I had something here.
Go for it.
I shared on the site, facebook.com/A Cosmic Perspective.
Plug.
There is a fun thing that I saw floating around. It's called Far Future Facts. And it starts off with like the Earth and the Sun. And it goes from 1,000 years from now to, I think 100 quintillion years from now. All of what they think is going to happen along the way. Let me just
that's
throw
so
out a couple
cool.
of good ones.
Quintillion years from now?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go down to what I like to call the end. 13,000 years from now, Earth's axial tilt will be reversed, so it'll start spinning the other way.
So we get to switch now. We get to be first,
Oh,
East
yeah.
Coast. We get to be first.
In 100,000 years, there will either have been a supervolcano or a large climate-altering asteroid to change the Earth's climate.
You mean not 2029?
Nope, not 2029.
Okay.
It could be it though. It just said in 100,000 years it's probably gonna happen.
Okay.
1 million years from now, all the glass that we have made will finally decompose. So think about that when you want to recycle glass. 8.4 million years from now, the probe, or it's a satellite. It's Ligaios. Do you know Ligaios? Do you know how to? It's a GPS
yes, it is,
satellite.
yes.
It is not going to come crashing back down into Earth for 8 million years.
Wow.
Carl Sagan actually put a plaque on it for when it comes back down, and it shows how the continents of Earth are right now, and how they
that's
will
so
be
cool.
in 8 million years.
Oh, wow.
So that if humanity is still around,
Sure.
they will find it, and then they can. It's basically a really, really long time capsule. It's gonna be awesome.
Coolest time.
And then I skipped
Last
way
one, what do
ahead.
they got?
I know, skipped way ahead to 1 billion years from now, titled "Game Over, Man." The sun's luminosity will go up about 10% Earth's surface temperatures will raise, and all of the oceans will evaporate.
Yep. I read that myself today.
Sorry, guys.
Yes, true story. So we got what is it, a billion or a million?
That's a billion years.
No more oceanfront real estate, people. That's just really sad.
All right. All right, let's quit while we're behind. So let's move on to predictions. Get us out of here.
And now, your AfterBuzz
Once again, what can we
TV
predict?
predictions.
He just gave us a prediction, basically. Will we? Okay,
I predicted 1 billion years. All of the oceans.
Are we gonna
oceans
find?
of the Earth will
Well,
evaporate.
here's a question. Here's a
Okay.
prediction.
All right.
Are we gonna figure a way off this crazy rock before that happens?
I don't even think we'll be around by then. At the way we're going, we're not even gonna be around.
I'm sticking to my theory of transhumanism. If
I
you
know, I
don't know
think
what it is,
yes,
look
I
it
love
up.
that. That is a fascinating theory.
That would be great. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm with Scott. I
But when
think
you
we're
think
just going to kill ourselves.
We are. I
off.
mean, when you think of how relatively recent we've been around, to imagine us being around for 1 billion years and we've only been around for like 40,000 at the most.
What, has anything survived that long?
No.
No,
So-
not yet.
The Kardashians. Okay,
They
let's
will live
Share,
on.
cockroaches, and lead. Those are the three things we'll be here in a
and
billion years from now.
tardigrades.
And tardigrades.
Tardigrades will still be here.
Yeah,
All right,
tardigrades will always be here.
Let's get out of here, everybody.
All right.
There's no intro.
I know. It's like,
Goodbye,
whoa,
music, Marissa.
So silent.
Okay.
Gosh,
It was like,
this episode's been crazy. I don't even know where to begin. So, Scotty, where can they find you?
You can find me on the old Twitter at sman80. That's SMAN80 here tomorrow night for the final Archer after
Final
show. Yes, and you can also find me on my podcast On with Scott. Follow my Twitter to get more details. It airs every Wednesday night. If you Google On with Scott, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. We've got lots of science stuff and other fun things all the time.
Nice. And the lovely Autumn Chiklis, where can they find you?
It is simple as my Twitter handle, which is at Autumn Chiklis. That'd be the easiest and most efficient way to get into contact with me.
Nice. And of course, Dillon.
So you can check out facebook.com/A Cosmic Perspective that I run with my partner Courtney Bree. Shout out. And at Twitter at Dillon Chance.
And Marissa, thank you for helping us behave. Where can they find you?
Of course. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
Nice. And follow me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're, speaking of stars, if you're a fan of Dancing with the Stars, check me out on the red carpet tomorrow night. So for Dillon, Autumn, Scotty, sorry, Scott, and Marissa, I'm JC. We're your Cosmos After Show. See you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.